We're going to go on the Mulkey Creek Trail this morning. It's a little foggy right now, but the forecast is for sun and in the 70s, and it was supposedly going to be sunny by this time, but didn't want to hold off any longer, so we're going to do a little hiking on the Mulkey Creek Trail. See you later. I'm with my partner, my buddy here, and I think he's ready to go. So we're going to set out on a trail that's perhaps just one notch a little bit more difficult than the last time we were out over at PV Arboretum. Those trails I had ranked on 1 and 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least difficult. Well, today we're probably going to go on a 3 and maybe even a 4 level trail. So catch up with you in a little bit. Well, that weatherman is about 45 minutes off his target today. It's now 11:45 and that sun is coming out. It's 52 degrees, I just checked. Going to go up to 75, so it's going to be a warm one later this afternoon. And pretty soon I'm going to be stripping down off this layer I have on, kind of a rain gear windbreaker combination. But it's getting warm, and that blue sky looks awful pretty. What a beautiful day this is turning out to be. The sun just glistening off the trail under this canopy of trees in the forest. Doesn't get much better than that. I seem to be gaining a few extra followers on these videos, and I wanted to do a quick shout out. But I'm going to hold off a second because I'm coming across a muddy spot in this trail. I don't want my buddy to step right in that mud. But anyway, I want to make a quick shout out to my good buddy Joe in Florida. Hope you're doing well down there, and it's a gorgeous day out in the Pacific Northwest. Also want to say shout out, hello, to 2 people back in Virginia that look at my videos, Stanley and Lucille. So I hope you get a chance to follow me on the trail here, and I'm going to pan around. This is where we're heading right now, up this little incline, and we're going to ultimately be going to a fork in the road to a footbridge. This is where we've just come from, and we've been gaining altitude gradually. If I sound a little out of breath, I am taking a break. But it is just getting more beautiful by the minute. And I'm going to pan around the forest a little bit, and you can kind of get a sense of the trees and all the moss on the trees and the lichens, and there's that sunshine up there, that blue sky. What a beautiful day. Before we get to this fork in the road, and I'm referring to this fork in the road, I wanted to share a little bit about some of the things going on in Corvallis. Next week, in the first week of April, we have the Gerontology Conference going on at Oregon State University. It's a 2-day conference, and it's the 2nd and 3rd, which is, I believe, starts a week from today over at OSU, and I will be attending. Also, shout out to the Oregon State girls basketball team. They were knocked out of the NCAA girls tournament by Gonzaga, but congrats to them for a super season and to Coach Rook. Another shout out to the Oregon State University men's baseball team. I believe the record's 20-5 as of today, March 26th, and they're on a run. They've got a lot of tough teams in the Pac-12 to play. It's going to be a free-for-all, but good luck to the Beavs. In my video last week, I talked about the fairly flat and easy trails over at PV Arboretum. Well, out here, going through the Mulkey Creek Trail to the trail connector to Fitton Green, some more ups and downs, some more altitude gains, and a little bit more challenging. As I said, I'd probably rank this a 3 to a 4 on a scale of 10, 10 being the most difficult. If you haven't done it in a long time, and you can see a footbridge we're coming up to down there. If you haven't done it in a long time, start out real easy. Do that quarter mile. You know, it doesn't have to be a 5-mile hike the first time. Just start out a quarter mile. Do that a few times out, see how you feel. Make sure you've got some good footwear, proper clothing. Want to dress in layers if you're going to be out on a day like this, and listen to the brook running. Man, it is just beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Anyway, start out something real simple, in the neighborhood, matter of fact. Now, we're going to be heading up a pretty fair incline here, and I hope you can get a sense of it. It's got some stone on it, so it's not quite so slippery, but going up and coming down, just be careful. You're going to come out this way. Pay attention. Now we're going to come to a little switchback, and we're going to go up some more. That's the fun of it. If it was all flat, it'd be boring. So far, we've come up a series of switchbacks, been up 3, that's the third one right there, and we've got another uphill climb ahead of us. So let's go. Much to my surprise, I haven't come across anyone on the trail this morning. I'm bound to run into someone soon, but right now, it is just perfect. I love it, being alone with my buddy, of course, and there he is. He's just taking it all in. Well, we're heading up on the connector now. The day just becomes increasingly more beautiful every corner we take on this trail. And as soon as I said I hadn't seen anyone all day, not 10 seconds after I stopped that section of the video, came across 2 ladies hiking. So that's kind of what I would have expected. Beautiful week, beautiful day. It is semester break for all the schools, including Oregon State, so ought to be a lot of people out. And we're still gaining some altitude, and I would put this as a 5 on a scale of 10. This part of the trail, that first part's easy, but this does become a little bit more challenging. So here we go. Well, I might as well pick up a little bit on some of the books I've been reading. Last time I talked about the Joe DiMaggio book, and that just becomes more of a curiosity from you think you know the guy and you really don't. And his involvement back in the late 40s with the mob. Yes, the mob. And it's quite funny how J. Edgar Hoover used to frequent the same place as the Copa, the Cotton Club in New York, and took shores, as did DiMaggio. And of course there was a little trust fund in the Bowery Savings Bank set up for him, and the way it was set up, one would never know he had anything to do with it. But that was the friends of the Mafia. The Mafia had their hand in most of those establishments, those restaurants at the time, and it's just interesting reading. Light, fun, and he was very much concerned about his quality of play. Everything had to be perfect or DiMaggio wasn't happy. And by the way, as you can see, we're continuing up here. So it is an uphill climb. We'll take a break. I know there's some wildflowers up here. I'm going to try to get some pictures. Just as information and something you definitely don't want to get involved with. There's poison oak right there. So make sure you're aware of it. It's a lot of it out there in the woods. And there's some more there as well. Poison oak. If I'm not mistaken, that's a trillium wildflower in the woods. Beautiful. Well, we've just come up another switchback, and we're going to hit up one more. So let's go. Also, my Grant book, I want to talk about that a little bit. He's quite a different personality than Joe DiMaggio for certain. And he did study his opposition quite well. And he had the book on most of the generals in the Civil War from his experience at West Point and also from his experience in the Mexican War in 1846. So he didn't waste a lot of energy understanding what his mission was and how he wanted to do it. The issue was sometimes he had trouble with his superiors and his subordinates. So General Halleck was his superior at the time before Grant was actually put in charge of everything. So again, a nice interesting read, well worth your time. Well, there's one good thing about hiking. When you've constantly gone uphill, up trail for a long time, there's always an opportunity to ultimately have a little downtime. And here we have what's known as cow parsley. It actually grows quite high. I've seen it 5 feet high. One thing I want to add is I continue to use my Georgia Giant hiking boots, and now I've passed 275 miles hiking and walking in them since Christmas. They have actually worn a little bit more than I would have expected. I'm a little chagrined about that. The tops are in great condition, but the heels are wearing probably, in my judgment, more than they ought to. Another wonderful hike today. We did about 5.5 miles, just over, and it was fun. My buddy and myself had a great day. This trail starts out reasonably easy, but can get a little more difficult. It's definitely intermediate in parts of it, so you don't want to tackle it unless you have some experience and are in pretty decent shape. So that's the Moki Creek Trail and the connector to Fitton Green. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye. This is Corvallis Tidbits. If you like us, subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.